VF is the largest apparel company in the world. Sales last year of about $6 billion. We own brands. Nobody knows who VF is, but they know the brands. Wrangler, Lee, Vanity Fair, The North Face, Vans, Nautica, JanSport, and some European companies. VF is primarily a wholesaler, and we wholesale to all channels of distribution, department store, mid-tier, and to mass. And our brands are targeted to one of those distribution channels. What we found is we had a series of disparate legacy systems that do not enable best practices within the business. So it turned from a business best practice reengineering to a common system search. And that is when we first started working with I2, when we were looking at best of breed solutions. And our relationship with I2 goes back to 1995, when they were a very small, young software company. Supply Chain Planner is, without a doubt, the most complicated piece of software I've ever seen, but it is also, without a doubt, unique. No one has anything like it on the market, and it still is by itself, in a class by itself, in providing value. The real advantage to something like a Supply Chain Planner is that it's refreshed every night, has no memory, and has no feelings. So if it sees a reduction of supply or demand or an increase in demand, it makes the adjustments immediately and recommends what the steps are to get back to your inventory level, the acceptable inventory level. It takes a human a little bit longer to recognize what the statistics are showing them. Plus, a human can't look at as many variables as the engine can look at every night. So they were doing it pencil and paper. They couldn't possibly, in a day, a planner could not go through manually all the style colors and sizes that person was responsible for planning. So if they hit it once a week, they were lucky. So these plans just sat out there. They were being executed, and we might be building inventory on stuff we didn't need and not having inventory on stuff that was selling. Supply Chain Planner changed all that. We run the engines every night. The next morning they get a fresh answer. It responds to changes in demand, changes in capacity, changes in raw material availability. No human could do what the engine does. It has allowed them to work on the exceptions, the problems, the other parts of the business that aren't a problem. It just flows. So it lets them be true planners and not clerical staff. Jeanswear, for example, our largest division, a day's inventory is probably worth $1 million. You take one day out of inventory and you've saved $1 million. And what we found was, in both the Imagewear implementation and the Jeanswear implementation, that we are saving somewhere in the neighborhood of $23 million a year in terms of reduced planning times, in people time, and in reduced work in process in our inventory levels and reduced obsolescence. I think we have achieved the result that we wanted and the payback that we needed.